That's lovely and hard to follow. Hi, welcome everyone. I am Cindy Rosenfeld and I am here with
Doris Wesley.
And we are with North Carolina State University with the Virtual Martin Luther King Jr. Project. If you have been here for one of these festivals in the past, you might already know that the Virtual Martin Luther King Jr. Project is a recreation of a speech that Dr. King delivered to the White Rock Baptist Church in Durham, North Carolina in February of 1960. It was at the beginning of the Greensboro sit-ins. Now, there is no known recording of this very historic and very important speech that Dr. King gave in Durham, but there was a transcript. And from that transcript, we have the Virtual Martin Luther King Project. We had the Virtual Martin Luther King Project worked with a voice actor, Mr. Marvin Banks, who is wonderful. You're going to hear him in just a moment. It is a voice actor. When I said that there's no known recording, I was not lying to you. He's just that good. He sounds just like Dr. King. Yes. And he recreated that speech from the transcript. And the congregation, the modern White Rock Baptist congregation, attended, and they responded as they were moved when they heard the speech. So the speech was called A Creative Protest, and it is about direct and peaceful advocacy for justice. Now, we're going to have an opportunity at the end today to hear the entire speech if you would like, but thinking about the theme of this year's celebration and about this speech, I found myself drawn to a particular clip that we're going to share with you now.
There is a success of history and a success of eternity. Right methods to achieve a right objective is itself a coming together of history and eternity. And where one uses right methods, there is, even obscured in history, a spiritual victory. Let us avoid not only external physical violence, but also internal violence of the spirit. We can build an empire depending upon love. And in that way, we will be able to not only teach ourselves something, but we will be able to also teach others something.
We can build an empire, or perhaps a world, dependent upon love. What would that look like, and how would we do that? Well, in our everyday words and actions, we are building more and less just worlds, more or less peaceful worlds, and more or less loving worlds. In The Meaning of Life, Terry Eagleton writes that the meaning of life is not a solution to a problem, but a manner of living in a certain way. Living a loving life, a life in which we speak love into our interactions and we do good deeds, such as feeding the hungry, welcoming the stranger, and comforting the sick, is the most worthwhile and meaningful life to be lived. It can be a challenge to live a loving life while also struggling against injustice, but Dr. King's speech reminds us that it is through love that we learn the lessons we need to learn, and it is through love that we teach and reach others. Love and justice, it turns out, are partners. Our students have taken note of this connection between love and justice. Recently, we have asked students to reflect on what it means to engage in ethical advocacy. That is, how do we build loving worlds? And after they participate in the Martin Luther King Project, they come back to us and say, I think it means something like advocating for what is right in a peaceful manner, or standing up for what you care about in a way that is aligned with your values. And one student made this point especially poignantly by saying, it seems like ethical advocacy is engaging as to clearly promote a cause in word and actions to ensure that one addresses potential moral issues that could arise and is careful to treat everyone with respect and brotherly love. That is what Dr. King did. This is what Dr. King did. Dr. King taught us well about promoting just causes in words and actions to build a more loving world. And it is our job to behave in accordance with those lessons. And now I would like to welcome my friend and colleague Doris to take over.
All right. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, everyone. I am really pleased and honored to celebrate Dr. King's justice, kindness, and peace legacy through the VMLK project, which is the Virtual Martin Luther King Project. So you hear me say VMLK a lot. So to add to what my colleague, said about student reflections on the meaning of what ethical advocacy means, it is important to highlight that students are becoming very aware of the need for peace-building approaches. So throughout the VMLK project, which is shown in some of the historical speeches that we give to students or some of the documentaries that we show to them in classroom and out of classrooms, the concept of peace building mentioned is not aimed at eliminating conflict. Rather, its goal, as practiced by Dr. King, is to stop all forms of violence and promote transformative ways to deal with conflict, or what I call negative peace. We can learn from Dr. King's legacy that peace building should be embraced, or should embrace action that pay close attention to individuals and group orientations, their ideologies and perspectives in ways that promote equity through various expressions, such as what we're able to do in such a way that we can deal with ourselves constructively, especially when we're having lots of differences and disagreements. So embracing Dr. King's notion of justice and kindness is embedded in our ability and effort to build peace in our lives, peace in our group, in our community, in our gatherings, in societies, in nations, in continents, and even the whole world at large. So this is possible when we collectively create spaces, just as we have right here, institutions or even other outlets that allow us to self-reflect, honor one another, and have purposeful dialogue and meaningful conversations in ways that help us to function at the highest level of our shared humanity. Thank you.